Hello everyone. So in this section, we are going to talk about basically our files into a Python. So in Python, I can say into a different modules, there are a different kind of a functions, libraries, and the packages are available to read and write and manipulate any kind of a data with respect to a different kind of a files. Now, so in Python, Pandas is one of the most powerful library that has been used for any kind of a file manipulation, and that we are going to talk about in very detail, that how we can read out like a XML file or CSV file or a JSON file or a HTML file basically, or maybe an Excel sheet or PDF file or a Word file. But here, as of now, we are talking about a Python core, and inside this Python core, so there is a provision, there is a function which we can use to perform a read and write operation inside a files. So fine, let's talk about that, I would say. And in a later stage, so we are going to see all of those advanced concept for the file manipulation. So this is just a things which is available inside a Python core, I would say, which we barely use. But yes, you should know about all of those things at any point of a time, I would say. Now, so here we are going to talk about a few syntaxes. So there is a syntax called as write file. So basically you can give a percentage symbol, and then you can like call this particular command called as write files, and you can give a file name. So whenever you are going to give a file name, so basically if those files are available, so it is going to append, or it is going to manipulate, or it is going to override those files with all of those text that you are going to mention, or else it is going to create a new file for you in a particular location, and then it is going to perform all of those operations on top of those newly created files. So what I'm trying to do is, so I'll try to execute it, and basically it has overwritten this text.txt file. If I'll go back to my location, so I will be able to see this txt file, and as you can see, it has manipulated this file just a second ago. If I'll try to open up this file, so yes, it is going to tell me, it is going to show me all the text which I have mentioned as of now in this particular tab. So I have mentioned like a hello, this is a quick text file, and it has mentioned over here hello, this is a quick test file in this particular place. I can close this file as of now, I would say, and then like I will try to understand all of those things. So fine, this is how I can create a files, I would say. Now here I am just trying to check a locations of like a current directory. So wherever you have a current directory location, so in that place it is going to create a file, or else what you can do is you can specify a location in that section, and then you will be able to get the same kind of a thing. So you will be able to store a file at that particular location at any point of a time. Now, so let's talk about all of those operations one by one. So suppose if I have a file, and if I have a simple txt file as of now, and if I'm trying to open up those files, so these files are available in this particular location. So what I'm trying to give is, so I'm trying to give a current location of the file and the file name, and if I'm using this a simple function called as open. So in this way, it will be able to open up my file, and then it will store all of those data, all of those objects which is available inside this file in this particular variable. Now, so after doing this operation, so I can call a file.read operation. So if I'm trying to call this file name, which I have already created as a variable, so if I'm going to call this file name.read operation, so in that case, it is going to read out all of those things till the end of the line, and it will be able to give me all of those data set which was available inside a file, I can say. Now again, if I'm going to call the same read operation, so in this case it is going to give me a blank. So basically what happens is, so whenever you will try to read out a file, so pointer will be available in a last position after reading an entire data set. Now, so if pointer is available in a very last location, so it will not be able to read anything. It is not going to give you any issue or any error. But yeah, at the same point of a time, it is not going to give you any data, because after this last location, there is no data which is available with us. And in that case, there is a different procedure by which you will be able to read out a file again. So one procedure is just try to execute the same thing again, and then it will be able to read out a file. Or else the second procedure I can say is, like use a seek method that we are going to talk about in few seconds, I can say. So fine, I'm just trying to read a file, and again the pointer is in a last place and I will not be able to get anything. Now there is a length function which is available. So if I wanted to know that how many strings are available, how many characters are available, or how many places it has taken, so if I'm going to execute it, so it is going to give me all of those information. So as of now it's a 0 because my pointer is in a last location. If I'll try to execute it again, so it is going to give me basically a total length of the file. So if I'll just execute this thing, so it is going to give me like total number of the data which is available, and as you can see I am able to get all of those things. Now so like I was talking about this a blank. So if I'm going to execute this file, so it is going to give me a blank. The reason behind this one is my pointers are available into a last location. I have already read all the data set which was available inside my file. So what I can do is I can try to invoke a seek operation. So seek operation is basically responsible for putting or placing your pointer in a specific position. So basically inside a seek I can give any kind of a location, I would say an index location. So if I'm going to give seek is equal to 0, so in that case my pointer will point to a very first location. If I'm going to give like a seek is equal to 10, so in that case my pointer will point to a 10th position, I can say. If I'm going to execute it, so my like a pointer is available at 10th position, and if I'm going to like call this read operation again, so it is going to read out my data from the 10th location. If I'm going to again change this things back to the 0, so in this case I will be able to get the entire data which was available inside my file. So this is what happens in case of a read operation, and this is what happens in case of a seek operation. So seek operation is basically responsible for putting your pointer into any kind of a location, or into any location, or into any indexes. This is how like a file read, file open, or file seek operation basically works. So here I'm just trying to give you the same kind of a things. Now so there is a function called as read lines. So whenever you are going to call a read lines, and if so wherever your pointer is available, so as of now I'm trying to place my pointer at a first position, a 0th position. So it will try to read all the data set, but whenever it will try to read all the data set, so instead of reading this data set in form of a string, so it will try to give you a data inside a list, as you can see. So that's the only difference I would say in between a read and the read line. So read always give you a string, read lines always give you the list. So list of a string, I can say precisely. Now so whenever you are trying to open up a file, so you can try to open up a file into a different modes. So basically into a read mode, into a write mode, into a append mode, into a concat mode basically. So these are the different modes which is available, and these things are very generic in any languages that you are going to use. So these things is not going to change, I would say. So here I'm trying to open up a file, and I'm trying to open up my file into a write mode. So I will be able to perform a write operation. I will be able to add this new data set into my file, and if I'm trying to like place my pointer, and if I'm going to read my file, so this is something that I'm able to get. Now if I'm going to use like a operation over here, which is an append operation, so in that case if I'm going to add something, so it has added the same string again in this one. Again if I wanted to add some new things in this particular place, so not a problem. So I will be able to call the append operation, and then it has appended this data set in a same file. So this is how you can override a file just by calling a write operation, or you can try to append a data inside your file. So both operations are permissible. Again, if I'm just going to call like R over here, so in that case I will be able to open up my file just into a read mode, and if I'm going to call a write on top of that, so for sure it is going to give me an error, because I'm trying to open up a file into a read mode and I'm trying to perform some kind of a write operation which is not allowed in terms of a file operations. Precisely. So I'll just get back to the write operation. I'll try to open up into a write operation. I'll try to write it, and then I will try to get all of those data set. So this is how, this is what it is possible in case of this read and in case of this write kind of a operation. So let me change this operator, and you will be able to see that I'm able to perform all of those operations that I have done. So basically I'm able to perform this overwrite operations, and yes, it is able to overwrite all the data set which was available inside my file. Now Now, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to write something into this file. And again, this time, instead of writing a single line, I'm trying to write a multiple line over here. So let's see how it works. So I'm just trying to open up this file. I'm trying to read this file. So this file reading operation happens, and it is going to give you all the result into a single line, basically. Now, if I wanted to print all of those things into a different line, so what I can do is, so I can try to call this file open operation into a iterator. So if I'm going to open up this file read operation into this iterator, so one by one, I will be able to get all the data which is available inside my file line by line. So if I'm going to execute this, as you can see, so it is going to give me a data in one line, then again it is trying to give me another data into a second line. As we have mentioned over here, we are trying to write 2 lines in this file, and one by one we are able to get a data set. So same thing you can see over here. So I'm just using some local variable, and like I'm trying to open up my file, I'm trying to iterate over to all of those things, and I'm able to get all of those data set. Now, the next operation that we are going to talk about is a string input output operation, a string IO operation. So in general, what happens is whenever you are going to create a file, so basically it persists inside your permanent storage, inside your hard disk, I would say. Now, so if I wanted to create a string, so basically a string always, it will try to store inside a RAM or inside a volatile memory, inside a heap space, I would say. Now, so the problem with the string is, so you will be able to perform all the string kind of operation with the string, but you will not be able to perform any file manipulation kind of operation with respect to a string. But suppose if I wanted to do a file manipulation kind of operation with respect to a string, so what I can do at this point of a time is, so I will be able to call a string IO, and with the help of a string IO, I will be able to perform a exact same operation that I have done with the file, like a read operation, write operation, like a seek operation, read lines operation. So every operations will be allowed if I'm going to open up my file, if I'm going to store a data in terms of a string IO. So fine, I've just created a message variable over here. I'm trying to hold some data inside this one, and what I'll do is I'll try to pass this message into a function called as string IO, and I'm trying to create some local variable. I'm going to store all of those things into this local variable. So completely fine. And if I'm going to perform this read operation, so I'm able to perform this read operation just like a file read operation. So whenever you have to treat your string as a file, so in that case, you can just use your string IO, pass your data inside a string IO, and then done, I would say. So you will be able to perform all of those operations. It will behave as similar to the files, I would say. If I'm going to perform again a read operation, it is going to give me a blank because my pointers are available in a very last location, and it will not be able to get a data after a last location. So I must be using a seek operation over here, and through that I will be able to put my pointer anywhere, and then from there I will be able to perform this read operation again. So I'm just trying to show you a write operation. Like I can write another text over here. I will be able to use a seek, and then I will be able to place my pointer, and then from that particular place I will be able to read my data set. So this is what happens in terms of a file, or this is how you can treat your string as a files at any point of a time, I can say. And like I have mentioned, so this is just a very basic operation in terms of a file read and write operation, and we rarely use this kind of operations inside a Python or as a data scientist. So whenever we will get a data, so the first library that you are going to call is a pandas, which is a lifeline, I would say, for a file manipulation for a data scientist or for anyone, I would say, because in pandas, so you will be able to manipulate, you will be able to read and write, you will be able to read like a structured data, unstructured data, everything, I would say, into a pandas. So fine. In our upcoming session, so we are going to talk about those things in very detailed way with lots of explanation, with lots of examples, I can say. But yes, till then, so you are supposed to know, you are supposed to practice all of those things that we have discussed in terms of a file read and write operation and a string IO operation. So thank you so much for watching this videos. See you again.